Okay, so we're looking at index form and powers. Here we go. So we want to do a product. So what we've done previously with product is it means times. Okay, so make sure you have this page in front of you and copying down as we go. Highlighters out. Okay, so here we go. So when repeated multiplication of the same factor, and when we say the same factor is we're talking about the same number, right? So we're multiplying the same number by itself. The expression can look quite cumbersome. So mathematicians have this method for simplifying such expressions them as powers. This involves writing repeated factors as the base number, and we'll talk about that in a second. And we have the index number to indicate how many times this factor must be multiplied by itself. This is what we call index form. Okay, so I'll leave that there. When we look at what we've just spoken about there, is that we have this example of a base of 2, or a number of 2's being multiplied by itself 7 times. Okay, so what we would say is we'd say, right, the base here of 2 is being multiplied by itself 7 times. Okay, so when we start to look at how this looks, is that we've got our base number here of 2, and we've got our index at the top here, or power, in this case of 7. Alright, so the base has been multiplied by itself 7 times. Alright, so on this side of things is what we have is we've got effectively our expanded form. Sometimes the questions will get you to put it in expanded form, sometimes it'll get you to put it in index form, sometimes it may in fact be able or ask you to put it as a basic numeral. In other words, figure out the answer for it all. Okay, alright, let's keep going. So, let's have a go at writing this in index notation. So let's count through the 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we have 6 5s. So we're multiplying the base of 5 by itself 6 times. Okay, so it's simply just counting them up. Our second example, we now want to write this. We have a base here of 6, and we're timesing it by itself 5 times. So we have 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. Check we've done it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Corresponding to times the 6 by itself 5 times. Okay, now we've got different bases. So separate them into the bases which are like. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we've got 2 to the power of 4 times by, over on the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So times by 6 to the power of 6, okay? We'll just leave that like this at this point, okay? And that's what we'll write in terms of its index notation for this one. Okay, let's go back to expanded form now. So expanded form is writing everything out in whole. So 3 to the power of 4, we would be writing this as 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Right, so that 3 to the power of 4 is this. I've got this times sign in the middle here, so I'm going to keep that. Right, so there's that times sign there, still in pink. And then I'm going to do this 3 to the power of 2. So I've got, 3 times by 3, which is the 3 to the power of 2. So that is it in expanded form. So if we now rewrite this, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 3 to the power of 6 back into its index form from our solution up here. What did we notice? Well, in the original question is that we had 3 to the power of 4 times by 3 to the power of 2. So one of the index laws is that you can actually, if you're multiplying like so, if you take these two, you can actually add the indices together. Because when you put them together like what we did in question A, it's kind of just like adding them together. So for that is you have 3 to the power of 6. It's a little bit confusing with multiplication and adding to get your head around that, but that's just what we do. Okay, right. Here's our another law, which is a little bit tricky. So now what we've got here is within the bracket, all right? So what this means is it means we've got 2 to the power of 3, right? And then we're timesing that by itself twice, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this. So it's 2 to the power of 3. Now, when I think about what is on the outside here, it means times what is inside this bracket here by itself. So I've got 2 to the power of 3 times by 2 to the power of 3. So what I'm doing is the green part is multiplying the same things by itself twice. So if you wanted to write this fully as expanded form, as the question's suggesting, the first 2 to the power of 3 is 2 times 2 times 2, okay, which is the simplification of this first one here, multiplied by the second one, which is 2 to the power of 3, which is 2 times 2 times 2, okay, which is that one there. Now let's go back and write our, same as what we did before, back in index form. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we have 2 to the power of 6. Alright, so this time, what did we notice about our solution? So with our solution, is that it actually ended up being 2 to the power of 3 times by 2 to get down to our solution of 2 to the power of 6. Okay, we'll see that a little bit later as well. So with a bracket, make yourself a little note. A bracket, I want you to multiply. So bracket means multiply the indices. Okay? Alright, so what I'd like you to do is have a go at the questions below. Okay, writing them in index form, look back up at the examples and see how you go with these questions here. So you've got questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we'll do another lesson for the square roots and cube roots, which is our last lesson for this booklet. Okay? Right, excellent. So that is it for this lesson. Good luck.